Hey up you lot, how we doing? So yeah, I've been working really hard on the William Hope Hodgson videos. That's been taking up my time. So I haven't really got anything prepped for today's vinyl chat. So I thought we'd have a look at a recent batch of pickups over the past couple of months, just to give you a vague and strange idea of what's going on in my record collection, because it is very odd and eclectic. You may notice in the background that there's assorted musical instruments in the living room. That can only mean one thing: that my lad's home for Christmas. He has the box room, so he hasn't got room for his guitar and his amp and stuff in there, so it kind of stays in the living room while he's here. But I don't mind, because I love hearing him playing. And he first song he learnt on the bass, he got his bass, first song, and he was just bursting to learn it was Warhead by UK Subs. So he's a bit of a chip off the old block, bless him. So yeah, what's been landing in my record collection over the past couple of months? There's all sorts of crazy and cool stuff. Well, I think it's cool, but I am a middle-aged man, and I think when I think something's cool, it probably isn't cool. So the first thing isn't vinyl, you fool. But it's sparked an obsessive listening thing for me. So I hate Black Friday. I think it's a weird and disturbing and unpleasant concept. But being a massive middle-aged hypocrite, I do check out the Arrow Video Black Friday sale, because it's always brilliant. And this was down to half price. It's the Love and Death box set. It's the films of Jörg Buttgereit. Now, I've got the special edition of Der Todesking, but like Schramm and the two Necromantic films, I've got... Right, so it was a copied VHS back in the days of tape trading. And then when I got a DVD recorder, I digitized all my videotapes, and I've still got those grainy copies of the two Necromantic films and Schramm, which are kind of charmingly nostalgic, but I wanted the Blu-rays. So this was half price. It's got Necromantic 2, Der Todesking, and Schramm. And like about 15 short films and hours and hours and hours of interviews. So if you're into that kind of weird movie, have a little look on the Arrow website for Black Friday. But that set me off. Now, one of my favourite soundtracks, I just think it's insanely beautiful, is the soundtrack to Der Todesking, which, after having binge-watched my Jörg Buttgereit box set, I just obsessively listened to this. So this isn't new to me, but it just sparked off. It's just like lived on my turntable for weeks. The first side, I'll take my glasses off then I can see, is all composed by Daktari Lorenz. And honestly, it's forlorn and beautiful. It's the same piece of music, just repeated and in different arrangements. And Daktari Lorenz was in, if you're interested in the films of Jörg Buttgereit, if you're not, I completely understand. He was the main guy in the first Necromantic film. And then side B is a mix of Herman Kopp stuff, who did loads of music for his films, and I just adore Herman Kopp stuff. Not got much on vinyl, it's more on CD. And then John Boy Walton, that again has done stuff for Jörg Buttgereit. I just love his films. They're harsh and brutal and genuinely unpleasant, but weirdly enough, not aggressive. It's a really... I've not experienced it with another filmmaker. We'll get on to the rest of the vinyl in a sec, don't worry. But his films are like... almost like calm and gentle in their tone, but their subject matter is horrific, and it really works. I don't know any other filmmaker that shows that distinct like lack of aggression, but shows you something on screen that is going to disturb your brain. Anyway, let's crack on with some more. Let's do the singles. So there's a big charity shop in the city I live in, and they used to have a big record room. Nothing was in any order. It was one room full of records. And the past couple of times we've gone, it's been empty. So it's been a bit like, oh, heck. And when we've asked, they've said, oh, yeah, we've got records behind the counter. And they've had like about 20. And it's like, yeah, we'll leave it. But we went again, and yeah, lo and behold, the record room was open. Now there's massive crates of singles and loads of them. So you need a good couple of hours to dig through everything. But singles are they £5 for £1 or something? They're either 3 or 5 for £1. Either way, cheap as chips. So you can, if there's anything that you think, I don't know what that is, but it looks interesting, you can grab it. So it's on the Major Minor label. There's A Better Day Coming by Crazy Elephant. I actually got it for the B-side, Space Buggy. That was what I saw first when I was flicking through the singles boxes. I'm like, Space Buggy by Crazy Elephant for like either 20p or 33.3p. I have to hear that. It's pretty cool, actually. I also got some cool new wave stuff. There was a couple of things in that box, one in particular, that I got a little bit breathless about. So I got that's to replace my, I've got Cruel to Be Kind, but I haven't got the picture sleeve. Sheena is a Punk Rocker, that's upside down, isn't it? By the Ramones. I got Ain't That Peculiar by Fanny. Now, I'm not a massive fan of 70s rock, like the Led Zepp type rock. I prefer like a bit proggy or a bit of the like kind of last remnants of psychedelia. But I do think Fanny are absolutely ace. Check them out on YouTube. Absolutely brilliant. I did get Rhubarb's A Star. I did treat myself to that one. I just wanted to hear it. And it's great. It's very silly. Eddie and the Hot Rods. Teenage Depression. Which I haven't got. I've got a bunch of Eddie and the Hot Rods stuff. A very wonderful Phantom Chords package. It's their cover of Johnny Remember Me by John Layton. So if you're not sure about the Phantom Chords, it was a side project by Dave Vanian from the band, from The Damned, and it was a bit more like rockabilly, 50s inspired kind of thing. So yeah, they did a brilliant cover of Johnny Remember Me, and that's where the single is. Look. The single's in that side, and it's like one of those crazy magician's wallets. No, it's in that side. And now it's in that side. Very cool. But the one that got me super excited, it was in a plain sleeve, and I just saw that. And I'm like, I know that face. I have him tattooed on my leg. And it is Wait for the Blackout by The Damned, picture disc with Jet Boy, Jet Girl by Captain Sensible and the Softies on the other side. How cool was that? I was just like, you don't find things like that in charity shops anymore. Like, older punk stuff, you can pretty much give up on finding anything like that. So let's get on with some other pickups. Now, this one's a bit odd, but I was genuinely thrilled to find this. It's this is just the sleeve. I've taken the LP out because it's a weird, like, very flimsy, like, paper sleeve. Eric Delaney. Now, I'm a huge fan of, like, 60s big beat stuff. It's almost like a cross between, like, swing and the kind of music that, like in The Persuaders, when Tony Curtis and Roger Moore walk into a bar and there's all like the girls dancing in the like Mary Quant mini dresses and that, and there's some groovy tunes playing that's kind of keyboard swing with a heavy rhythm, and it's good to dance to. That kind of big beat stuff, and there's some great stuff on this Eric Delaney LP. And the lovely thing is, and I think it's genuine, it's actually signed to Vera Eric Delaney on the back. And I was just so excited to find a signed Eric Delaney record. Eric Delaney's dead now, bless him. But, like, just absolutely great stuff. And whenever... one of the other ones I've got is a bit earlier than this. It's Eric Delaney's... Is it just This Is Eric Delaney? And it's kind of like swing lounge, groove, cool sounding stuff. And there's been a few times I've put it on when I've had people round and they've kind of gone, what is this? This is that archetypal 60s groove swing. It's just brilliant. So it's... I think it's a private pressing. It doesn't have a lot of stuff on the label. I think it's a private pressing that he probably sold at gigs. A couple of live tracks and a few studio bits and bobs. It's very cool. So let's get on to some weird stuff now. This was a random pickup from a record shop that's in the city I live in. There's like a record shop. It's half record shop and half bookshop. And I do love it. And I always go for a little browse, even though he's got a rubbish horror section. The horror section is dreadful. So it's more records, really. But I got this very cheap. And it's not a band I know, Stabat Stable. And I bought it based on the hype sticker. I hope you can read that. If you can't, if it's not on long enough, pause it. And it's like early 80s French electro, space, minimalist, cold wave, kind of great stuff. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like £3. And I was just intrigued by the hype sticker on it. And it's an absolute win. Do you guys ever do that? I often, if something's cheap enough, like that Crazy Elephant record, I'll be like, that just either looks bonkers or I just want to hear it just because it sounds interesting. And that set me off. This isn't a recent pickup. This is another one that I've been playing to death, like the Dare Todas King soundtrack. And it's Schleimer K. That Stabat Stable LP set me off listening to Schleimer K. It's if you don't know it, it's kind of electro cold wave from it doesn't say, from the early 80s. Let's have a look at the LP. I'm sure that'll tell me. 1981. And I don't know much about the band, but it's almost... I do like a bit of synthy stuff. I love OMD. And the kind of early 80s cold wave is almost like early OMD, but with a lot of the pop aspect removed, and it's just like basic drum synth bass kind of. It's very interesting. Back to pickups. A couple of 12-inch singles. I got the Flaming Groovies. Feel a whole lot better. Mainly, which is a cool song. I do like it. I mainly got it for the B-side, which is Paint It Black, and the original version of Shake Some Action, which it's one of my favouriteest songs in the world. I adore it. So that was a £1 from a charity shop. These are mainly charity shop pickups. And from the same shop, I got the 12-inch of Spanish Stroll by Mink DeVille that I kind of heard in the... It does say limited edition, but it's probably not. In the film That Summer, which that's got a very cool soundtrack. That was one of the first kind of new wavy compilations that I got, and it's got like Richard Hell and the Voidoids and early Boomtown Rats and all sorts of cool stuff on it. And Spanish Stroll is on that soundtrack, so I was quite pleased to get that one. Now let's get on to some other odd things I've picked up. Charity shop find, £1. They're still out there, but you've got to keep checking. King Crimson, Discipline. It's not a King Crimson album I was familiar with. It's not my favourite, I don't think, but it's one I haven't got, and I am a bit of a Robert Fripp fan. It's a little bit out there, even for me, but it's very enjoyable to listen to. Same charity shop, another bargain. Hawkwind, Masters of the Universe. Now, this is a compilation on Fame, which means it has very little actual cash value. And I've pretty much got everything that's already on it. I really got it for It's So Easy, which was issued as a 45 with Psychedelic Warlords. Everything else on it is from Space Ritual or Do Re Mi or In Search of Space. But it's just quite nice just to have. It was cheap, and it's like, right, well, that's going to nestle nicely in me burgeoning Hawkwind collection. This is a slightly older pickup, but I don't think I've talked about it. The Blue Elephant by Matt Berry. This has had some serious play. Now, that Matt Berry that's in like It Crowd and Boosh and Toast and Year of the Rabbit. If you haven't watched Year of the Rabbit, that is so good. It's on the Channel 4 on-demand player. Check that out. It's absolutely hilarious. And a bunch of people don't really know that Matt Berry is an astoundingly talented musician and songwriter. Always doing something different. His second album, Witch Hazel, is almost like kind of like dark folk hauntology type stuff. It's just done all sorts. He did an album of TV theme tunes where he re-recorded his favourite TV theme tunes, and they're just astounding how he reimagines them, and it's stuff that you kind of think, actually, that was very cool. Like the theme from Sorry with Ronnie Corbett, and one of my all-time favourite TV theme tunes, the theme from World in Action, that led me to buy, Sean Phillips. I've got a couple of Sean Phillips LPs in one of my 60s boxes, just because I was like, I loved the World in Action theme so much, and it's like, who wrote that? And I know it was somebody else, I can't remember, and Sean Phillips. But it was just like, I want to hear some more. If you can write that, I need to hear some other things. So this is a very groovy, slightly more psychedelic-y thing that Matt Berry's put out. If you start listening to Matt Berry stuff, don't ever presume you can guess what's coming next, because he's done stuff like Music for Insomniacs is very, very Jean-Michel Jarre. So he just does all these interesting and crazy things, hummable and listenable to. And he also did the painting for the cover. I mean, he's like, is there no end to this man's talents? Worth getting, or at least worth checking out. Let's have this one now. So this isn't a pickup. This is a very, very heavy rotation, and it's John Otway. I think I've talked about this one in my Cheap New Wave Albums video. This is just Otway and Barrett, John Otway and Wild Willie Barrett, and it's absolutely knackered. You've got to have some LPs that have seen some life and some parties, and they've had adventures, and they've eventually retired into your record collection. I watched the documentary about John Otway that's on Netflix, and I think it's just called Otway the Movie. And heavens, watch it. Like, even if you're not that much into John Otway and can't really remember that much more that he did with Beware of the Flowers, because they're going to get you, yeah, and Really Free, which I think was the B-side anyway, wasn't it, to the single. It's just about his life and his constant failures. But in the face of that, his determined enthusiasm to be a pop star. It's so charming, and I genuinely didn't expect it to be either that good or kind of like just so entertaining. But yeah, so that set me off wanting to listen to a bit of John Otway and Wild Willie Barrett. It's got my favourite John Otway song, Birthday Boy, on it, which is a bit of a punky jump-along anthem. So last up is a couple of Christmas presents, early Christmas presents. Me and my friend, we did Christmas early just in case there's any restrictions on household mixing and stuff. So, and we opened them in front of each other. We're not keeping them under the tree. We're just going to crack on and see each other open them. And I must admit, I was absolutely blown away. The first one is an album that I already loved, but I haven't got on vinyl. It's one I streamed a lot. And it's Comfort to Me by Amyl and the Sniffers. If you haven't listened to this and you like any kind of punk or edgy, high-energy music, my word, listen to this album. I do really like Amyl and the Sniffers. I think they're great, but I think, for me, this album, they've refined their sound and songwriting abilities, and it's just, every track is incredibly good. It's there's no filler on it. And it reminds me of Robert Crumb. You know, the dude with his head in his hands and his face is melting because he's so baked. It's just absolutely brilliant. So, thank you, Mark. Last time I saw you, you said, oh, have you listened to it? It's like, I've had to clean it twice now just because it keeps getting dusty because it's just constantly playing. It's absolutely genius. Edgy, punk, high-energy music. It's just so much fun and not safe for work. There's a moderate amount of effing and a jeffing in it, so don't put it on Spotify at work or anything. If you work in the supermarket, pipe it over the speakers. And last up, my very lovely friend, who I adore very much, got me. I know. Look at that. Look at that. How beautiful is that? That's just gorgeous. I love it. So this is a 3 LP box set produced by the BBC, which is basically the Doctor Who serial, The Web Planet. Just graphically, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, this is the last one. First one in the box, it's the last LP because that's the one I listened to last. Look at that. It's like migraine-inducingly pink. But I was thrilled, and thrilled is an understatement. I was overwhelmed to receive this. I mean, look at the attention to detail that's inside the lid. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I've been well and truly spoiled this Christmas. So yeah, that's additions to my record collection over the past couple of months, and just a couple of things that I've been spinning like crazy. So thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to leave it there. And I will see you lovely folks in the next video.